Welcome everybody. This is a Day Trading Options Daily Review for February 25th, 2016. I'm Scott, he's Alan. We're going to give you a general day review. We're going to do some different things today. We're not going to be doing the 10% in 10 minutes, show you that you could have made it on specific stocks. Because we want to take some of that time and we want to show you, it's kind of like Christmas in February. Well, maybe it's a late Valentine's gift, but we've got a little feature that we've added to the program and we're really excited to be sharing it with you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alan and take it away.
Thank you, sir. Well, we have, of course, people that trade in the live market with a live tool. So in replay, you're getting data that's been captured and collected for years of everything that goes on pretty much in a market for all those days. But what happens is the evolution of things is some of the traders say, I'd like to go look at, I traded RCL today, and it's not in the replay list. And the replay list is meant for training purposes for people. This is a graduated learning process. So you don't get hit on the head with, okay, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's actually stuff you understand and you move from one step to the next. That's on purpose. It's built for success. So to accommodate, though, the people that are trading live, making money, and occasionally they like, you know, that trade wasn't the best. What did I do wrong with it? And it's like, well, I'd like to go look at my stock. And they go, well, okay, well, here's the list for today. And well, their particular stock isn't in there, but it happens to be one that they might love, or that had an earnings report a few days ago. And even though the open interest is a little low, sometimes they get in and they get out and they're happy with it and they're trading it, but they can't review it in the replay. So we added the ability, and there's a thing here, it says extra stocks, so that you can add in some of those stocks that here's the list, wrong screen. So here, I'm going to get rid of that. These are the extra stocks that you can add in. In this particular case, there's 190. And you say, well, you know, I traded, what'd you trade? I traded Juno today. This is great. Click on that. Oh, so there's my Juno. So I'm going to go to the end of the day here. And that's what happened with Juno.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's like, what about my other favorite stock that I like to trade?
Nordstrom.
Yeah, let's go see here. Let's bring up the list again. I put it somewhere behind something else. There it is. So Nordstrom.
Oh, there it is.
Just click it. It's on your list. Oh, I don't want it. Okay, click it again. I think you can handle. Yeah.
These 190 stocks are the ones that are potentially okay, but they're not good enough to make our regular basket.
Right, because the open interest might not be as good as it was within the last 6 months. It could be that the spread on the options wasn't so good. The volume of trading wasn't so good. But
yeah, so there was a lot of reasons why, but that doesn't mean that somebody couldn't trade them, as opposed to the other 5,000 stocks that you didn't include, which are probably really bad choices to trade.
Right, and we haven't done it yet, but we're gonna add another little correction to this list, and that is, and I don't like spying on anybody for any reason at all, but what we are going to do is this is a benefit to people that live trade. We haven't built it yet. I'm just going to make sure everybody's in agreement with it, that that are using the system right now. Is if this, for example, Lulu was on your list, Scott, and you were trading that, and let's just say it wasn't in this list of 100 and whatever, I'm going to have the live program only report the stocks that you're watching on your main list. It's going to report that up to a server, and then at the end of the day, all we're going to do is just say, well, I don't know which ones you're trading. I don't care. That's up to you. But because it was on your list today, I'm going to make sure it's in your replay. So this is a benefit for people that are live traders, that say,
So I
well,
don't have to worry about the fact that you picked 190, but mine was 191.
yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I want to, I keep gold or something or whatever it is on my list, and I want to make sure you have it on this one so I can look at it and replay. So anyways,
Wow.
that's the last thing we're going to do. And again, I just going to check with our, current user base, but I'm not associating, well, Scott looked at SanDisk and Joe looked at MLM. I don't care. The server basically says, I don't know who these people are, but they're looking at all these different stocks. So make sure that they're on your list. And
And this is only in the live.
only in the live, so that when you do go to replay, if you go to replay, it's like, my friend, you're here. So
Right, because one of the big advantages of replay is after the day is done,
mhm.
to review your trades and to look at them, and now like I got in here, I got out there, man, I don't know what I was thinking getting in there. That's crazy. What was, and then you look at your notes or whatever you're journaling, and then you learn and you dissect. This is how, what does everybody in every sport or every competition do? They they look at the game tapes, you
Yes.
know, this is what you got. This is what you did in the defensive zone there, dude. Like, you don't do that. You do this. Oh, yeah, sorry, coach.
Yeah,
This is how
exactly.
you can coach yourself and improve.
Yeah. So anyways, because we've only just added this, you'll only see this icon in recent days, starting in the beginning of near the end of February. So if you go to replay and you pick some day from way back when, you won't have the extras because we just started doing
Right. We
that.
haven't recorded any of that information until today.
Yeah, and it really is. It's a phenomenal amount of data, and I never wanted to do that before, but we've made some tweaks and tunes, and so we can get away with it now. Again, you do something for a while, you might get good at it.
Right. So, Alan, I want to put you on the spot,
Mhm.
and I'm looking at the replay toolbar.
Yeah,
And what I'd like you to do is, just for everybody, because I'm sure most people have no clue what all those things are. So just start at the top left and go across and across and across, and just quickly, you don't have to click on it. You can if you want, if you think that's helpful, but just quickly explain what all those different little icons are.
sure. By the way, if you're running more than one monitor, this is the only deficiency in the program that I don't know how to fix at this point. But generally, if you hover over a thing, it'll tell you what it is. You don't even need me, and you don't even need any of this from me. It'll actually do all that for you. But what the deficiency is that this little item goes onto your primary monitor. This is my secondary monitor. So when I hover, it says go to replay controller F10 key when I hover over it, but it's showing on the other screen. And
Right.
you would, if this is your primary screen, it'll say it right there. So here this is something where it's called show the playbook, and it tells you the hotkey, which is Shift F10. And that would, we were going to put some more videos in there, and some of them are in there that say, well, I want to watch some video about, and then you can watch it. I'm going to shut that off. And one of the other cool things about this toolbar, because I, again, got an email from somebody that says, well, I can't see my window. It's like I click on it. But what they did is in Windows, I'll show you this because this is kind of fun. This is my computer. So I've got a regular monitor. This is this one where I show stuff, and this is a TV screen that I've got up above that I review my videos that I make and so forth. So here, this is the resolution I normally like, 1912. So here, because it's YouTube, we do it in partial HD because then it's not too big for people's bandwidth and so on. Anyways, what happens is people can in Windows, you can drag this monitor and plug it over there. Physically, it's still on your desk wherever it is. But what happens is all the little windows that were in this monitor, when you slide that over there, they're lost over in that space, and it's like, well, where'd my, I can't see it. And it's like,
Oh, I
yeah,
can't find the windows.
yeah, because you told Windows, I want you to think that this is over here. So all this other stuff gets orphaned over there, and I don't move it because that's not my job. It's like, you know, if you want to rearrange and you put this other monitor here, that's great. But, you know, Windows lets you do stuff, and we don't interfere with that. But what happens, and this is a good thing about Toolbar, is if you had this, and this works with all of these, is let's say here's my stats window. I don't know where it is. If you right click on it, it'll put it on the default position of your main monitor. So since this is my secondary and it's made a little smaller, so if I can't, let's say I can't find it because I threw it over there. It's right there. If I do a right click, you see it disappeared,
It
and
went away.
it put it back on the main monitor somewhere where you can see
Oh,
it.
so you can never have to worry about losing your windows again. That's awesome.
Yeah, and we used to tell people, well, you can go do this, and you can make it click on it and do Alt Z and all that, and all that stuff still works. But this is like, I think, you know what, this is a little easier for people. Just right click on it. So this is the main list. That's this guy, which has got your ordinary bunch of stocks, and almost all this stuff works the same in replay as it does in live, and that's on purpose. The short list is your candidates for things. This is where the system will auto add and remove them. It's like the training wheels stage to get people started and say, well, maybe you should just look at these ones instead of, well, I don't know what to do here. You know, our rules are pretty simple, but if you don't want to follow them and you want the system just generate a few ideas for you, well, that's the short list of stocks. And as you move forward, let me just do that. The short list will change what it shows, except when you're at the end of the day. So here you can see it says, well, maybe you should look at this one for red and these ones for green. And so there, it's pretty good. It's helpful. So the analyzer is one of the older lists that we had, and it's pretty handy if you like breakouts. So here, these ones are broken out of the 1-day range but hasn't broken out of the 4-day or 20-day or 52-week range. So here, Adobe on this day is broken out of the 1-day, 4-day, and even the 7-day range. I'm clicking on it. And so here's the stock. Let's get the toolbar out of the way for a moment. So here's the stock. It's there's the 7-day break above. So somewhere in the morning, this thing looks like this thing could be really taking off. And so the analyzer, some people like, most people don't use it, is you can actually go through it and say, I'm looking for stuff that's going to break out on the 4-day. So I'm going to sort this list like this. And so I should be looking at DPZs having an amazing day. It's really running hard. What's it doing? And of course, you can do that before the day is too old. And it's like, yeah, it is having an amazing day. So that's just like a strategy that the window helps you do. And this was an older strategy. So we don't teach that as much because it's a little more complicated. People get used to the system and they go, yeah, okay, I'm going to play with these things just to advance and personalize things for themselves. So if we go back to the toolbar, get rid of that guy. This one here is target window. And this one I do use occasionally as well because I don't want to sit there and think, and IB does this for you too, but it's very easy for me to go, if this stock breaks that price, so I did Alt and click, I want you to talk to me, and it will. It draws it on the screen and you can edit it, but on the target window, you can say, oh, well, it shouldn't be 131. I'm going to double click at 69. It should be 49 or whatever you want. And so now when that price breaks above or below, you get an alert. So I did an Alt click on that. But if I want another target price, well, tell me Alt Shift click. I know, a bit complicated, but that's all you got to learn. When it ever crosses that price, it's also going to tell me about it. So the targets list, and this also tells us about our, these pivots like RF and RE. Those are all in there too. but they're right up here on the chart. So you don't need this list, but it's pretty handy for, hey, tell me when my stock gets above blah, blah, blah. This one is very handy. This list here is the dynamic targets. Oh, it's way on that screen over there. Oh, here we go. Okay. A lot of people use this as a trading tool because the no man's zone, I can tell you by looking at this that HD is in the middle of the no man's zone. It's 20 cents above the bottom and 22 cents below the top. Whereas these guys are all below the no man's land, and these green ones are all above. Green above, red below. So if I click on it, you can see there's the risk zone, and here's Adobe, it's above, and here's Amazon, it's below. What it's doing is another question, but here, Amazon's been below for 36 candles. That's what that tells you. Whereas Apple just crossed above. How about that? So again, this is where people start to get good with the system. And it's like, yeah, I already know all the basics and how to, get my bread and butter 10% trades, but I want to learn a little bit more and do a little bit more and experiment. Well, so there's a bunch of columns, but these are the ones that, and this is why this list exists, is like, I want to be able to see and you can sort it that way, say, who just broke above? Well, Apple, FedEx, LinkedIn are all just breaking above the risk zone. And this one is a fresh signal. That might be worth trading. Might. You have to look at it a little bit, but might be. So the next item is the watch list. Now you've got, I don't have anything on the watch list right now, but you could. Control W means just, I want to, whatever your current stock is, I want to add it to my watch list because it's got all the columns and details. And that's different than favorites. Here's favorites. And this, I don't have a lot of favorites set up. Favorites will just tell you about one icon and a little bit of color. So if you want the favorites bar, you can see, oh, FB looks like it's green, SPY looks like green. Where here, the ones on the watch list, you get a lot more details. This is all about people's preferences. I don't want this, but I want that. No problem. We'll make you a window like that, and that's what we've been doing. Is, well, I just want to know what my favorites are doing. So if you want to make something your favorite, you just click on it, and it's Control F for favorite. And so there, it's on my list. These things are remembered from day to day to day, and they will always be on these lists as long as the stock is around.
Control F puts it on. How do you get it off?
Control F. It's a toggle.
Good.
On, off. And so same with watch list. And we've got other things that we treat as only for today because I don't want to use a piece of paper. It's like we've got the computer. I only want to know about if there's a green move on Apple, and that's where you can make minis. We'll talk a little bit about that. But, and this is all actually in the course 2, which is 8 hours, but it explains a lot of stuff at a much slower pace. So you can tag stocks that you think are going to be a hot stock by doing Control H. And so when you go to your main list, which is here, I said I want Adobe to be on my hot list. So that's not remembered from day to day. It's just for today. It gives you this little color in here. And I think Amazon is going to go green. So I do Control G for green. I'm looking for a green move. And so like the analyzer, you can just click on these columns, but you can also sort by them. So what happens is, oh, I love these stocks for red. So if the market goes red, it's like, okay, give me, and then okay, look, FSLR, oh, it's in a green move, but let's just say it was a red move. I'm going to go to FSLR because it was part of my, before the market opened, well, let's go pick this guy here because he's already red. It's like, if this thing goes red, I want to see it and I want to ride it. So let's go look at that because I know it's green right here, but it's like this thing could be an awesome red stock. And so that's what all these tools are for, is that this says that this looks like it's getting ready to do a red move. And that's the day, that's not today. So for the last bunch of days, the VRX has been in a red run. So maybe So again, this is all about personalized. I don't like that. I don't want to use it. You don't have to. It's there for somebody else that thinks that way. I can't find the mustard in the fridge, but my honey can. There's nothing wrong with my brain. She just has a different scanning routine in her. So, so that's the watch list, is the eyeball. And then this one is the main chart, which you know about. That's this. And then there's a secondary main chart, and that one is double or triple time frame, and it's always synced and linked to your main chart. So we're looking at VRX. That's 5-minute candles. This one's 15. So if I go down arrow, I get a different stock, and these things just all follow along. I don't have to, do tricky stuff. I just click on like the main list and say, well, show me SanDisk. Well, they all shift up. We found that this was quite helpful in the early days, that you could look at things from a different perspective. Is that it's like, well, you may be getting red here, but it's still kind of not really red on a larger perspective. That's just a little bit of a pullback. It's nothing. And so let's not trade that. Again, some people use these things, some don't. This one's very handy. This is the 1-minute candles, and there's 10 of them. I always have this up, because if I'm thinking of getting into a trade, this is 1-minute candles always, and this could be 5-minute or whatever you like. So it's telling me what this little business looks like, and I've got green, 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 and it's looks like it's trending up. You can see how the candles are going up, up, up. Let me get rid of the signal thing so you can see a little bit about that. But you can see that this is looking pretty good on that micro level. So the micro level is right there for you. If you want the bigger level, then you've got the other charts for that. So then there's a 5-minute, which is much like this. Then you've got a 10. Again, it's about people wanting different time frames, fixed time frames. 15, which is very handy. This is the multi-day. When you get past, it's like, oh, look at that. SanDisk seems to be on a nice trend up. And that's the mag line. It's like, this thing's really going great. Oh, and it's finished the mag line. This thing's probably dead. So you're getting a larger scale of, oh, it had a big run and then sideways. So then we also have the 30, which is the same idea, except you get more days, because each candle is now 30 minutes. So it's like, okay, you can see, and I'm just drawing, and there's some really great coaching by Murray, where he calls it clear to the left, is like, well, this thing's been in the trading range here and here. This is very successful stuff to know. And it's also covered in the advanced course in detail, is if it breaks in this range, I can probably make some money. And so that's why you have the 30-day, and you've got the analyzer telling you about multiple days. It's like you get to see what's going on. So there's the 30. Not as many people use that as they use the 15 and the 60. So this is 1 hour per candle. And so here you're getting a view of 7 days, which is why there's a 7-day break. So now you're looking at, well, it's been running here, and then it's been running there. That's giving you a pretty big time frame, and zoomed in detail. You can see that this was a rubbish day. You wouldn't want to trade that. And you can see the K-band wasn't there for you, and all the other things, no signals. We don't want those days. But you don't have to worry about that, because you see that on your main chart. But here this is saying, wow, this thing's really on a trend. And you can, if you're good at other kinds of chart reading stuff, you can say, well, okay, it opened lower, but it broke the previous high. It broke all 7 days. People love this stock. It's going somewhere. I don't need to know why people love it. I just see that they can. So that's the 60. And then I got a couple experimental things I'm working on. And when we're ready, you'll get to see that. So this WS is daily. So it's not as much information. It's not as pertinent. If we go pick another stock, I don't know. Let's see if there's something here. You can see, oh yeah, here, like DPZ, big gap. I'll make that chart big. So this is like 3 months worth of data, and you can get a weekly edition of the same thing. So it broke out of a range a couple days ago, and then it gapped up, and so it's had a great day today because there's obviously something great news about it. Domino's Pizza, some earnings report or whatever it is. It's having a great day. So there's the daily chart. So you got lots of different time frames, and they're all grouped together. Chart, and chart. And then this is for a mini. If you open that, you get a mini chart. So you can make that any size you want. And what a lot of people do is they'll have a whole pile of them of their favorites. And so these windows will actually dance around. If you said, well, tell me when it turns green, and use that Control G thing, it'll dance and start, doing this little moving around and say, hey, by the way, I'm moving. And again, these are all preferences. Well, I don't like that. Well, and somebody else goes, oh man, I love that. And then comes the basket, which is very powerful. It's in a chart form. You don't have to have it in chart form. Remember, you can have the compare line on your main chart. This is one that almost nobody uses. It's been around since way back. At a glance, I can tell you what's going on with just about every stock on this one. And I will explain it here because it's not really explained anywhere. This is the average range. So every stock starts out the day here. They all start here. And what happens is, so CMG is already moved more than its daily range. And if we click on it, I know this is like weird stuff, man, the matrix. It'll tell me when I go to the chart. Let me get rid of some of these things here. That it's moved 116%. And I know that because it's moved more than this business, than the 100% line, that thin little thing. So LinkedIn is, it's moved half its range. These things have moved 80, 90% of its range. They're in the middle of the chart. So UVXY is at the bottom. It's at the low of the day. This thing might go lower. So I'm going to click on it. And I knew that instantly just by looking at that, is that it's at the low of the day. There it is, even says so. So maybe I'm a little late to get into it, but maybe it's going to go lower. And so I'm going to move forward in time. You can see how these little guys are moving around. So I'm moving kind of quickly, but you can see that SPY is red, but it's near the top of the day. So Tesla is almost, you can click on it and it brings you the chart. There's Tesla. It's moved 100% of the day and it's near the top of the range for the day. So it's kind of an odd thing, but some people really liked the visual map. So you can make it small. You can't really read anything, but if you make it big enough, it's like, oh, LNG, or Tesla's looks like it could, well, how about this one? That one looks like it might go higher, IW or JWN. It's at the top of the range. It might go higher, and there it goes. So these are, I wouldn't look at that until you get really good at things because it's just not necessary. One of the more important features is the minute log. This tells you the strength of the market. I can tell you right there that it's a bull time. It's green for lots of stocks. You don't want to argue with this thing. If it says lots of green, why are you writing anything red? The whole market is moving green. Like we looked at that other day where everything was red. Here everything's green. Easy trading. Okay, stats summary. Not even going to explain that except that this is how we know, and this is covered in the course, that you got big candles, 124% of average in the morning. And then you can see how these body sizes, the day slows down and it gets weaker. And then as the day gets going, let's go to the end of the day. The volume takes off and the candles get bigger. But you can see here in the middle of the day, and you can study all this, and we've had actually engineers look at that and go, oh my God, I love that. But if you're not an engineer, you won't go, well, I don't know. This is a summary of what's going on. It tells me at a look that, and a lot of this stuff's in the chart, but it tells me that all the indexes, and you can hover over, it tells you, so DI, SPY, IWM, they're all running to the green side. It's a weak bull. It tells me just about everything. So it's a different view condensed of what would mostly be in the basket and a few other places. So some people like that. My friend from high school recently found it again and says, I forgot how good that was. And so settings, that's all the things you can do on and off. Then you can load a workspace. So like I have a workspace here called webinar mode. So all the color settings and where the things are and what screens, they're all saved. So I can instantly just go load that. And then it puts everything for the webinar mode. And so I also have a save. So when I make a change, I can go update the webinar mode. And then I don't have to go, well, what was the settings I had? So you can save all these. And we're going to make this eventually so that it gets saved to the cloud. So when you go to another computer of yours, you don't have to move a file or redo it. It just get it from the cloud, save it to the cloud. Right now that's not there yet, but it's coming. This is how you control the alerts. And you say, well, what does it say? I'm going to go pick on another stock here. Let's go Netflix. What does it sound like when there is an alert on Netflix? Netflix. Sounds like Netflix. Well, if you don't like that, use your microphone and you record your own. And we won't do that, but it's easy enough to do. You just click on it and you start talking. Some other stock. There's a bunch of background noise. So when some other stock, you're going to get that. Anyways, but you can also control what alerts come to your attention. Oh, well, when it breaks my target price, I want to hear about it. When it's a previous day or some of these other things, it's like, yeah, I want you to tell me when those events happen. So I don't have to look at everything. It's like, oh, look at that. Netflix broke the 945 range. Maybe it's a trade. So these are all support tools. And this is the buy sell button. And that's the summary, which is also right there, of the trades we made. And these are the awards I've gotten in my practice. And so I've made over 100 trades, and I've made an average of 18% per trade. And this is these three are only in replay. That's your favorites bar. And this is the alerts bar, which is quite handy. So the alerts that did come up are visually here. And when you move forward or backward in time, you can actually get some of these things so that they display. When we go back to this setting, I'm going to say, I don't want you just to have an alert. I want to see something happen. So if I go back in time, I'm going to go beginning of the day. Beginning of the day, and I'm going to go forward. I want to see some visual indicator on my screen that stuff's happened. And so, oh, look, there's UVXY broke a 1 day. Now, you can hover over, I've got the speaker thing turned off, but normally you'd have it on. But if you hover over it, it shows you the chart, which is right there. You click on it, it takes you there. Oh, okay, that's what that looks like. That's what's going on. Oh, look at that. VRX is broken on 1 day. This thing's half painting on another screen right now. But you can go over here and say, well, what is that? Apple broke, again, the tooltip tells you, it broke dynamic lines. It went below. So if I go to Apple, it's below the risk zone. There's my risk zone, and it just broke below. So you can, and you can have all that stuff if you have it turned on settings. I've got all sounds turned off. But if I turn them on and go forward a minute, that's the computer telling me that these are the stocks that are doing something. And again, you can record and make your own voice for
First Solar.
There you go. First, there's a
Chevron.
Those are some more common stocks, so those ones are done for you. Now, the last one we actually have in this playbook is the VAR bar. And one friend of mine, he only uses this and loves it. And so certain things come up and he'll go look at it very quickly, and you can actually have it paint charts for you. So let me, so like these ones, you move them where you want. As the VAR bar changes, these stocks will become different stocks. It's like, oh, Netflix, SanDisk, and Tesla are ones to look at. And it auto paints. I'm just showing you one here, but here's another one. See, these are the three, right? So there's three here. So if I move forward, oh, now if Google seems to be the hot thing that fits these rules. It's like, well, that one actually looks pretty good as a trade. So you might want to click on it and go there. So there are, and the final one is this, which we did for people so that everything's in one window. So you don't have the full list of stocks, you've got the short list. So anything I've marked as a favorite or a hot stock or green or red is, or that the system says, you know what, you ought to be looking at that, will be in that list. But the convenience is you've got your main chart here and you've got your 60-minute chart here. So this thing is in the middle of its range. It's heading down on the multi-day view. Is that my best stock? No. It's okay. How about this one? It's no. CMG, and you can use your arrow key and it'll take you to the next one. SanDisk, oh, look, it's at the top of the range for 7 days. It's a breakout. We looked at that earlier. There's not much. We've already missed this move and all the stuff that we teach you. Scott, where would you have gotten in on this move? Which candle is the right candle?
Third one.
Yeah, so here's the risk zone. This is a great candle to get in on. This one's good. This one's better because it broke that high. And you can see it's staying above that one. I don't know what the market was like at that time. We'd have to look at it. But getting in too late is a great way to lose money. Getting in on time, see, like this is a little late. It's fluttering. Who knows where it's going? Oh, it hit RA. Great. So, but you see back here, you had $1.08 until you hit RA. That's more than enough time and money. So 99 cents, you could still make money. You're above yesterday's high. I don't want to get back to training, but you see here, and you know, these are the other things that are moving and what they're doing. I'm going to get rid of that just by saying, don't make these alerts move, and they'll just disappear. So that's every button in the book.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I just think it's a good idea to kind of review these things, because oftentimes you get used to doing certain habits, I think is the best way to put it, not recognizing that there's a whole pile of other tools that just gradually just add them into your arsenal, and they help you understand what's going on in the market and help you to achieve easier success. And don't try doing them all at the same time, because having 35 bubbles showing up and going up and down one screen and something else popping up and then the computer yelling prices and stock codes at you, it'll drive you absolutely insane. But if you gradually add some of these tools in, you'll find that they make everything a little more clear. And that's what you want. You just want a clear signal. Hey, this thing's going to move up or down in the next 10 minutes, enough for me to make my 10%, and I'm happy. And sometimes you hit the home run.
Yeah, and I got to say, you know, I get emails and Skype messages from people, and I'm really happy with that. A bunch of them are making money out there. That's really what we're about. And I often get, you know, I really love your software, and you know, I rarely get a complaint. And guess what happens if we get a complaint? I make it better. So, and I think the best part too is that our coaches are not my brothers and sisters and all that sort of thing, and they're not friends that I, you know, paid to lie about stuff. These are independent people that I didn't know, and they became coaches because they used the tools, and they became consistently successful, and then they wanted to be coaches. And but the best part is that one coach in particular, Murray, everybody that follows what he teaches, which is essentially the rules, but he fills in the little gaps that people have. Again, it's like I can't find the mustard in the fridge, but my honey instantly knows, and it's like, oh, it's on that shelf. That's
Yeah,
the
me
thing.
too.
Yeah, it's like I just don't see it. My brain isn't trained to look that way. Anyways, everybody that follows Murray's instructions is successful. That's awesome. That's exactly what we wanted, is repeatable success. So you've got a tool. Yeah, there's a ton in there, and I'm happy to cover off. And there's going to be a lot more videos filled in over time after we stop adding all these improvements we promised to do. Then there's going to be more help files and videos. But you can always ask us in Facebook, or send us an email or Skype or whatever, and say, well, how's that work? And we'll give you all that. But it's not an infinite amount of stuff. It may seem like more than you need, and that's on purpose, because your neighbor actually likes some of the things that you don't want to use, and that's on purpose. So you get to use what you like the way you like, and they get to use what they like the way they like, and just ignore the other stuff until you're ready for whatever that is.
That's right. Grow with the software.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thanks very much for sharing all of this, Alan. Really appreciate it. And I'm trying to remember if we actually did much of a review for February 25th or not.
Oh, we didn't. But let me tell you, this was another one of those, what did the market do days? So not look at that stock. Let's look at the basket. And we've talked about this in previous days. So
Most
what
of the
happened?
day in the no man's land.
Yeah, for the basket, which is like, well, then you just got your ordinary kinds of things going on, and you can see it's up, down, up, down. So, if you do pick something, it better be strong, because the market's not going to carry it. So it's going to be slow. But in here, we had a great day for some stocks. And, we can go zoom through a couple of them real quickly. But, here we go. Let's put this one up. And I'm going to switch it back to the full screen. This is the compact view. So when I made my monitor smaller, it's like, well, that's a lot of stuff. It's like, well, then what you really want to look at, and this is more like what you would have, is this. So FSLR, it wasn't the one that took off with the basket much. So maybe that wasn't it. But while you're looking at the market, oh, Apple took off. Didn't that fit the rules? Basket's taken off, and let me see, I got two kinds of tent, breaking out of no man's land, and there was money there. And you just basically, all you're going to have to do, and this is what, you can scan.
There was, go back one or two.
So there's another one. So Baidu, they got earnings coming out tonight. But the point is, it's pretty easy. You can use the up-down arrow key, like Chevron. Okay, great. That one is right here, is not too old of a move. It's running strong and nice. You got lots of volume. That's a pretty good pick. Is that the best one? Oh, look at that. The Dow. Well, you could buy that. You may as well just buy SPY. That's even better. But I'm looking at this time zone. So here's Facebook. Exactly fit the rules. You got the tent breaking out of the zone, and the market is with you. So here's another one at the same time, roughly 3:30. This one had a better start, and that's FedEx. A much nicer run. And and this is what replay is about. Well, why would I pick this one versus that one? Excellent. Just, you got to learn it. I can't teach it. I mean, I can, but then you have to stick it in, because telling it is one thing, but really. So Goldman Sachs, this was an awesome move, because here it broke the whole morning range. Here's the 945 range. It broke that, and then it really took off. This is one of the better looking ones from the simple technicals we follow. But I don't care. I don't need to get this thing. That's not the idea. I want this one, or this one. I don't need the garbage that's on the wrong side. And as you can see, it just didn't do much. That's the whole point, is just ride the good ones. If somebody's always grumpy and complaining around you and negative, maybe they're not your friend. Why don't you just go with the ones that agree with you and want to help you? And those are the people you want in your life, the people that are like with you, not. So same goes for stocks. It's like, well, here, this one was with you. This one, it had its run. That was in the morning. It's tired. So SPY, that would be the one I'd trade. In fact, I did trade that. As a matter of fact, I was busy writing code, and then I heard the system go off. And what did I do? It was here. And I rode that for a little bit because, I had the speakers on. And I made $10 per contract. And you go, well, that's not much. Yeah, but I only paid $1.23 per contract. So $10 each. And I only wrote it for a little bit because I was busy writing code. I didn't want to hang around. It's like, well, I didn't study it. It's just like, oh, it broke the high. The market's, the basket's going crazy. So I bought it for a short run. And yeah, I could have got more. I didn't care. I was happy with that. That's after commish, and the commish takes $2 out. So guess what? That was my 10% right there, including the commish. So I don't mind. Happy man, got paid. So that was today. It was another great basket day. So I didn't have time to hunt for which one was the best. I went straight to SPY. It's like the market's going great, I'm in, and I'm going to ride SPY because that's it. Easy to get in, you'll always get filled. And so that's it for this day, the 25th of February, 2016. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alan. Really appreciate you taking the time today, particularly to go through all of that detail. It was awesome. And I think a very good refresher. I'm pretty sure everybody was kind of had their eyes open about some of the detailed things that we can do that they may never have even seen before. So I think that's really awesome. Thank you. And if you're interested in what we're doing and you don't know anything other than you've just seen this for the first time and your mind's a little bit blown, we have training, we have links to our training below. They're very, very inexpensive. There's no reason at all that you can't spend a $10 or $20 or $30 and learn all of this, get trained on it. We give you a 30-day free trial, and then you know whether this is going to work or not. We don't want to have anybody in here thinking that this is something that it isn't. It's very, very important that we do this from a place of integrity and not just from a place of greed. And that's what we teach everybody that's trading, beware of fear and beware of greed. So hopefully you'll join us. We'd love to have you as part of our family moving forward. We're very excited about the success that our traders are having right now, and the success that our students are having taking the courses. So we look forward to having you join us. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.